Yeah, you let everybody in.
Have fun, guys. Good luck.
Good luck.
What's up, girls? Girls all the way from Spain. Okay.
I'm just...
We've got some chats in. Okay, we're good to go. Seb, you there?
Yes, I'm just chatting with Lucas to see if he can get in, but I'm there. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're just getting the last people in, and now we are good to go. Everybody, welcome back to Osaka, the digital hub. We've a really exciting session today. Something very close to my heart. Yeah, playing hockey abroad. We have the experts with us from Scored Hockey, who put together a great platform, which didn't exist, of course, when I came over, but it's an amazing tool that we can use. We're going to talk about that. We've got a whole host of players here. Playing abroad for me, of course, is really special. I've met my wife while playing abroad. I have 2 kids from playing abroad, from playing hockey, and I have also been able to have the joy of able to follow my passion and start a company within hockey, Osaka. So that's super cool. So I think I'm really looking forward to the session. I'm really happy to see the amount of players that are here, and there's already some great stories that we're going to be able to share. If you have any questions, we're going to go through everything with Seb first from Scored, and then we're going to do a little go through some questions with the players. And then after that, we're going to open up for some, if anybody has any questions or answers. You can contact all the players through Instagram, through their DMs. We'll put them in the chat. You can also contact Osaka World, or you can also contact the guys from Scored. But Seb's going to go through all the details. Seb, I'm going to go to you first. Can you tell us a bit about Scored?
Yes, of course. Yeah, first of all, like Steven said, I'm also one of those lucky people that could start a business out of passion. That's exactly what Scored is. We basically connect people around hockey. That's what we do. Players, coaches, fans, clubs, brands, all over the world. We've been doing this since beginning of 2018. Mm-hmm. We're doing it through different channels. One of the most actual things right now is the fantasy, which you've been seeing most probably.
I'm pretty disappointed with my points in the first week, Seb. I'm pretty disappointed with my points in the first week.
Yeah, I'm actually doing quite well, and I didn't cheat, so I promise. Okay. So another thing, which is the topic of today, and which is actually the reason why we started Scored in the first place. It's the playing abroad and everything that comes with it. It's about connections. It's about providing information and facilitating everything that's needed to be able to live your dream and play hockey where you would like to play hockey. And that's before starting to listen to the stories of all the players present today, just a little bit the story behind Scored. It's linked to my co-founder. So I started a company with Oriol Peremiquel. He's a Spanish player, former international player who played for Dragons and Antwerp in Belgium. That's how we met. So we met in Antwerp, where he came to me with basically a realization that he was very lucky to be able to play abroad, to live his dream, to play professionally hockey. And also realizing that this was not for everyone. There was a lot of communication barriers, was a lot of difficulties to get in touch with the right people. He experienced all that, and he just wanted to find a solution to do things better. And that's why we started Scored. So we tried to connect people, we tried to connect clubs, players, coaches all around the world, whatever level you want to play at, and provide the right parties with the information needed to make the connections. So that's a bit of the story of how I met Uri and how we started Scored. And yeah, I would propose maybe to go to some of our success stories, let's say. We've got a lot here present. Let me see. I can have a...
Firstly, I want to say thanks to all the players for joining. I think like anybody that's going to be following this, it's going to be so interesting because we've already had some messages from guys sort of, for example, down in Australia that they can't come in now, but they're all going to follow it after. A big thanks to all the players for joining because I think it brings great value, especially in these times when yeah, everything is uncertain, and especially the hockey world is a bit uncertain. We strongly believe that people are going to turn to sport and probably turn to sport more than ever. But I hope that we can get it back on the pitch soon. But thanks to all the players. I wanted to say thanks to all the players for joining in here. Sorry, go ahead, Seb.
Cool. All right, let's maybe start with Lucas Martinez. How are you doing, man? You're in, right?
Yes, all good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So maybe you can explain a bit about your experience coming from Argentina to the Netherlands, which was probably also a cultural difference. So maybe you can talk a bit about that.
Yeah. Yes, for me, I started playing at AGC in The Hague. I went with another Argentinian there to play 4 seasons ago. For us, of course, it was really, really special to join Hoofdklasse because I think, as everyone knows, the Hoofdklasse is really, really good in hockey. The experience is amazing. So it's hockey-wise, it's really, really good for us to play there, or was. And yeah, there is a big challenge for the Argentinians, I think, to join in Europe in general, and especially in the Netherlands, because yeah, there is completely different cultures, I think. We come from a place that the people, I think, is more warm, more like the social life is totally different. And I think maybe the Netherlands is a bit different about it, and that's a bit hard to adapt maybe to the team. But yeah, of course, that's also part of the challenge. So I think they are big challenge in social wise, in adapt to a team that is completely different than you. Of course, the kind of the game as well. And yeah, after playing at AGC for 2 years, then I went to Orange Road, that I've been until now. And also a really big hockey challenge, plenty of internationals, and really pushing forward as well during trainings and during the games, because you need to really fight for your spot in the team. And that's also hard on a different country. You know, you're far away from your family, from your friends, maybe out of your comfortable zone. I think that's something that gives you lots of different experience, and builds your character as a player.
And Lucas, hey man, tell us a bit about like your day and the lifestyle of playing.
Yeah.
In my case, I do almost every day during the morning the gym. Sometimes the schedule of the club, and sometimes the schedule of the national team, with some running sometimes. And then usually we train here Tuesday and Thursday double hockey sessions, and on Friday 1 hockey session. In the middle of the double sessions we do video, and yeah, the rest of the day usually I spend it studying. I study international commerce. I can do it with a computer, so that's not a problem. And when I come back to Argentina, I can give the exams. So that's the main thing as a general. Just trying to be fit and to be able to play, and also spending some time on the studying.
Cool. Maybe we can go to Jill now, because we talked about cultural difference, and obviously Argentina and the Netherlands, it's a big change. Jill, you didn't go that far. You went from obviously from Belgium to the Netherlands. How did you experience that change for yourself?
And I played also 2 years in Spain. When I was 18, I was supposed to go for 1 year, and then I stayed for 2 because I was living on an island with Argentinians. So it was a pretty cool experience when I was younger. So it was in 90. No, it was a couple of years ago, but it was really, really cool also to experience, as Lucas said, but otherwise to have that warm culture of the Spanish islands. Living with Argentina was a whole life experience, and also I made friends for life, so that was really cool. And then I came back to Belgium, and then I left for the Netherlands when I was 25 or 26 or something, for Oranje Zwart back in the days, where I was supposed to play 2 years, and I stayed 2 more years after it, and I played 4 years in total, with the last year for Oranje Rood. And yeah, it was great to as a Belgian to be able to play in the Netherlands in the Hoofdklasse was an awesome experience, where the hockey is a total maybe not, but like another way of seeing the sport, and training hard, and every game was a real fight. And as a club that wasn't part of the top four history of the Netherlands, we managed to qualify for the Hoofdklasse, for the playoffs the last year, which was also the first time in the history of the club. So there was a huge process during these 4 years to just play hockey at the best level, and to have an awesome team and an awesome club to play for was awesome.
Okay. Still in women's hockey, I think looking to the Belgian competition, there is not yet a lot of players moving to the Netherlands. You think this is gonna change? Is there a reason for that, or because you did something that wasn't really common? I think you explained how great it was, but
yeah, it was also really hard to combine with the national team, because the trainings in the Netherlands are hard, and the program with the national team was hard too, and adapted to the Belgium competition. So it was a lot of traveling. But I was still living in Brussels. So it's a commitment you have to make, and you have to manage your fatigue and the travels and everything to be able to perform in both cases, in the national team and in the Hoofdklasse. I think it's a commitment that players want to make, and are waiting for the good moment to be able to combine it with the national team. And I think with the heavy program they have now, with Pro League and tournaments all around, it's hard to put an extra load in that case. But like this year, Pauline Leclerc is leaving to the Netherlands, and I think more examples will follow, because it's a really great experience. You learn a lot about yourself, to get out of your comfort zone, because when you play for the national team in Belgium, the Belgium competition is a bit a comfort zone, where you know people, you know the level, you know your team, and stuff like that. And when you go abroad, especially in the Netherlands, where they're super happy to have you there, but to have your spot in the team, you really have to fight. And if you have the level of a youth from the club, the youth from the club will play, and that's also how they try to manage their teams. And so you really have to fight in a really healthy way to get your spot. And so it's really getting out of your comfort zone a bit, but it allows you to grow.
I have a question for you, Jill. Culture-wise and socially, how did you find the change from being a Belgian player going to play in the Netherlands? Because I see some players, from what I see, some players seem to fit in very well to go and play in the Netherlands, and some players find it more difficult. I'm more talking socially and in the culture-wise to be able to fit into the team. Have you got any advice for people, or is there any short stories that you can share, or how was your experience?
Yeah, I had an awesome team, but you have to adapt to their culture. It's not them that are gonna adapt to you. You have to get it quickly how things work, and it's actually more based on working hard. And if you give your best and you're working hard, then you're in a way. You're in the way they're doing stuff, and you get your spot in the team. And I think it's really I was lucky also to be in the south of Holland, which is more a bit more like Belgium, I think. But yes, socially it's different, and the culture is a bit different, and not only on the hockey pitch, but a bit outside and socializing and stuff like that. But you adapt quickly, and the main thing is about working hard and try to fit in, and
That's
they're gonna welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I mean, you see so many different examples of players, and some players integrate into teams and clubs really, really well. And some players find it more difficult, and it becomes a real lifestyle challenge. And I think the advice you give there about working really hard is really nice. I think if you're open, like you say, to a club, and you're open to a team, you've a lot bigger chance, of course, fitting in.
Yeah, and it's also realizing that you're the stranger coming in a work dynamic and in a team, and it's about you also to adapt to the team, and that's also for every team you play for. It's to try to adapt and see how the dynamic is, and try to fit in and have fun with the people, because there are always fun people to be around, and that's the main thing, I think.
Okay.
I saw Davy Har was joining too. I think what's also very interesting in this topic is the road towards playing abroad, because obviously we heard Lucas coming from Argentina to Netherlands. Argentina is a big hockey nation. For Jill, Belgium also a growing hockey nation, and the step is maybe less big to Netherlands. If you come from a smaller hockey country, or at least I think for Ireland it was the case, certainly when Davy made the step. I think the path is a lot harder to get into the big competitions, right? Davy?
Was that? I think that's his brother, Connor. I saw. Hold on. I think we have to. I'll see if I can find Davy to unmute him. There he is. Wait. Here we are.
I thought I muted him.
He's gone now.
He's gone.
He's still there.
There. His video's not on.
Hello?
Ah,
Hi, Davy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. I don't know if you heard me. I said good morning and tried to make out that goalkeepers work really hard, which we don't. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I can still remember, I still actually have an email in my outbox in my Gmail account from when I was sending to Hoofdklasse clubs directly, looking on their websites to try and make my way to the Hoofdklasse back in 2010. You know, stating who I was, what I had done in Ireland, and, you know, I had some nice feedback and received some nice emails back from clubs, and then some other clubs just didn't bother replying. And you remember those ones, obviously, more so at times. But like before I came over, there had been some Irish guys who had also made their way over. Stephen Butler on the call here had made his way to Dragons, along with Justin Sheriff and a couple of other guys, while John German, Eugene McGee, Faden Maguire, and Ian Lures, when he was representing Ireland, all played for Half say. So it was always something that I really wanted to do and aspired to do, was to play in the Hoofdklasse. I think also coming from Ireland at the time, back in 2010, I think we were ranked 18 or 19 in the world, so it was really difficult to try and make your way into the world's top club competition. But persistence paid off. I had contact with the club SCHC, Stixe, and they had invited me to come over to join their club in 2010. Yeah, and from there it was nice. I think sometimes it's easier when you have your foot in the door than when you're still knocking on it. So thankfully, the last 10 years here, living in the Netherlands and playing at the highest level, has just been a phenomenal experience.
Cool. Okay, now I see you.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks for sharing that, Davy.
No problem.
Let's maybe move to the South Africans, because again, in the approach of looking how to get to playing abroad, so we got Kristen and Janti. Maybe, hi guys. A question to the both of you: How do you choose your teams when you go abroad? Because how do you start even deciding which country, which city, which club? How do you start doing that?
Johns, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, sure. I think at the time when I was looking to come over was 2009, 2010. I mean, we didn't have a platform like Scored, and I was sure at all what to do. But at the time, a guy called Simon Organ, who was in and around the GB setup, had come to South Africa, chatted to him at one of the tournaments he was coaching at, and he'd just gone over, and I saw he was going to coach at Brux. So I dropped him a little message. I was like, hey, dude, if you ever need a midfielder, please think of me. Like, I'd be super, super keen to come over. And again, like David, was just trying to make that little connection to find your way in and go. But I think the answer to that question was that I didn't actually know where I wanted to go, what was going to be the best club to suit me. I tried to work it. At the time, we had a couple of South Africans, both the Payton brothers, Reed Ross was over, Lloyd Norris Jones. So I was like, okay, cool. Try get onto them, try make some sort of connection, and then go from there. As we started going and everything got a bit more refined there for a couple of seasons, it was easier to make connections because you kind of had the idea. But I think at the time it was exceptionally difficult, to try and make that first connection. I know, Paige, what was it like from your side?
Well, I think this question just really highlights why we need a platform like Scored. I think it's different if you're an international player versus not an international, because obviously other coaches are seeing you. So you have like a name, if I can put it that way. And you also meet so many people. So I think the biggest thing is just connections. So for instance, I met someone, a Belgian girl at my Junior World Cup, who popped me a message in 2018 to say, hey, my club's looking for players. Would you be interested? And at that stage, I just made the national team, and I'd taken the year off my studies. So I thought it would be kind of perfect. And I said, hey, yep, super interested. So yeah, she kind of put me in contact with people from there. But if I didn't have that connection, then I would need a platform like Scored to be able to communicate with people and just to see about like how to do it. Because obviously going over there, I didn't know like who to contact. And like you say, the culture is so different. So yeah, I think it's different when you are an international player and you do have these connections, but when you're not, I think a platform like Scored is really the best way to do it.
Yeah. And I think, so often exactly like Davey was saying earlier, is you go and scour the internet and send through an email to a random link that comes up on someone's website and it goes into an inbox off the time that isn't even used. So yeah, I think exactly without those connections, it becomes exceptionally tough.
Yeah, so that's the there you are, Seb. It's best businesses solve problems, huh? And I think nowadays we should be able to use Scored a lot. The more people, of course, that get on Scored, the better. Huh? I mean, if we can get
I think I can agree with that. Yeah.
And Jonty, tell me, can you tell us a bit about your experience of playing away?
Oh yeah, definitely. I must admit, I absolutely loved my time. First went over to Belgium. I was at Brux for a season, went across to Gantwas for a season, and ended up back at Brux. And I loved absolutely everything about it. One of the things we were talking about, how do you interact in the culture and fit in with the team environment? And when I first went over, I was still very, very focused, and it was all about hockey and going, and I wasn't drinking anything at the time. But the team that I'd gone into had been with each other for sort of 3-4 years. They've gone through, just got promoted to honor division, and there was real strong team unity. And after training, guys all shout together, have a drink, something that we didn't really do in South Africa. You go train, you go home, and that's it. It was like, okay, well, how can I try like ingrain myself in this team and feel part of this culture? So it was, going having a little half pint after training, just to be there and chat and feel like you're part of the team. And as soon as you started making those little connections, it felt like the hockey became easier, because now that whole feeling of you gelling within a team, within a club, feeling became so much easier. And as soon as that happened, the roll-on effect was epic, and then you could really start enjoying what you were doing on the turf and go from there.
Nice. Oh, really nice.
Maybe let's go to hear about the experience of our two Spanish girls who are in the room. We got Flor and Berta, who both had the experience of playing in Belgium, coming from Spain, and I think for a while, if I'm not mistaken, I think Berta played like 3, 4, 5 seasons in Belgium, and Flor 3 seasons, if I'm correct. So maybe you can. 6, okay. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can talk a bit about your experience coming from Spain to Belgium.
Yeah, for me, I was quite young when I wanted to go abroad, and I decided to do it when I was 19, I think, or 20. And I was a bit afraid, but I wanted to know a new culture, a new language. And firstly, it was like Jill. I wanted to go there 1 year, and then I knew new people. I love French, so I wanted to learn it better. Then I decided to change my studies, so I started my studies in French there in Belgium, and I loved the culture, the club culture also, which is so family and stuff, which is surprising because in Spain we are so familiar, but the club environment it's not the same. And I loved my team. I loved people in Belgium, so I wanted to stay. And then it was like I say 6, but it was seven seasons. I stayed 4 years in Wellington and then 3 years in Brexgata. And I loved it so much, so I could learn a language. I had my studies in another language. I knew a lot of people who changed my life and now are friends for life. And yeah, I don't know, I think you have a life experience which you wouldn't have with any other thing. So you learn how to live alone, how to get out of difficult situations also alone because you don't have your family or friends. And I think you know something about yourself that I would never know if I would stay here close by my family and friends. I don't know your point of view, Flo.
I agree completely. I left with my sister also 3 years ago when we were 19, sorry, and it also changed our lives. We experience every year something different because the first year we decided to study online our degree in Spain because our mom said, if you want to go abroad, you have to still study. So we follow it. And the next year it was really hard to study online. So we decided to study something new in Belgium. And we both started international business. But that year it was really hard to combine because we made a commitment with the national team and our club that we were going to fly every 2 weeks to Spain to train. So yeah, the balance combining everything was really, really hard. So this year we decided to come back to our studies in Spain. And this year I had the chance to start working at Scort also. For me, my experience, it really changed my life. I learned things that I thought I would never learn. And also, I think going with your sister, Ale, have the chance to go with someone from your family and experience something, it's really nice and it's something that you will keep forever. And we learn together a lot. We learn how to live together, we learn how to understand each other, and I think it's something that it's forever.
Yeah. And I think a platform like Score, it's really useful because, for example, in that time I didn't have that, but Spain was at ranking 15. And well, I don't think that anyone knew me, and it was difficult to find a club or to decide which club to go because not a lot of people did that before. And yeah, I think Score can give you the possibility to have that experience, and we are lucky to have hockey and to be able to do that. Some other people that doesn't play sport or something, they could maybe never do that if it's not working. And I think if you have the chance or if you have that in mind, you have to do it just to experience something new. And if it doesn't work, it's something that it would change you anyway. So I encourage everyone to do that and be able to know yourself better.
And I agree with Christine that she said before that maybe on your time when you left, it was easier if you had a name or you were in the national team. But now I think with Scort, you can have the chance to go and play abroad wherever you want because there's internet, you can send your videos, and it's not necessary that they know you. Maybe it's easier, of course, but now the chance for everyone is bigger and it's easier.
Yeah, I have something I think that we were talking about earlier and that came up, and I think it's quite, especially in now times, I think from players, okay, we have a group, we've talked to some of the best players in the world. It's not always the best players in the world, of course, that want to be playing away. But I'd like to talk to Toby a bit because I think, hey, Toby, I think Toby's a good example of, I just know from experience from Dragons that a player playing abroad needs to add value. And Jonty spoke about it, about getting involved with the team, and everybody's also touched on it. But you need to add value to the club, I believe. And I'm close, obviously. I got to the honor or the joy to be able to play at Dragons, make it my home. And I've seen from a distance a player that's come in, Toby Walter, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but also somebody that's really given a lot of value to the club. So I'm going to add Toby into this conversation with you girls because I think it's quite interesting. Toby, maybe you can tell us a bit about your experience at Dragons and how you've been able to, or how you feel, or how you approached coming to a new club.
Yeah, thanks. So Dragons, if I compare Dragons to my old club, Harvestehude in Germany, it's pretty similar because it's a really familiar club, and especially the team I joined then was a really harmonic team, and everybody was pretty open to each other to welcome new people because it was in a time when lots of players left to play abroad or for different clubs. And yeah, it's always helpful if you try to integrate well and you know what's coming towards you. So I was informed, obviously, about everything up front. And once we were in contact the season before I came there, I chatted with Felix to make everything happen. And then it went really quickly. Yeah? I agree with you girls. It's different if you already have somehow a name in hockey, but yeah, you always have to fit in somehow. There are lots of clubs, I guess, around the world where it's not the case, where players join in a new team and find it really difficult to adapt or find it really difficult to find their place. But I just can speak for Dragons. It was really easy for me to adapt because the team was really open-minded, the club was really open-minded, and they gave you lots of possibilities to show that as well.
Yeah, I guess I know there's been scenarios of players that have come in that haven't fitted in. I think that's also interesting to learn from. I guess if you're fully committed to the club, it's much easier. I guess performance plays a role. I guess there's different elements. The girls from Spain talked about going back for national team training and how do we combine the two. That's always a bit of a sensitive subject because the clubs have to look out for their own responsibility, and the national team, of course, is very important as well. Did you experience any difficulties with that, Toby?
I would have faced some difficulties this year, but my journey in the national team is over. So the only problems I would have faced, which would be quite big, was the playoffs would have been during Pro League matches, and as soon as you as a player from your country playing abroad, the federation is not looking for your needs. So I would have made a decision. Do I want to play Pro League, for example, or do I want to play for my club in the playoffs? Which is
that's
pretty difficult to make a decision like that, because on one hand, it's your job to play for your club. But on the other hand, of course, you want to play for your country and be as much successful as possible.
That's a very, very interesting topic, and it's been talked a lot about because national teams are getting more and more demanding in terms of hours to train everything. So maybe we can go to Brandon Creed. He's still there to have his opinion about that, because obviously, like, you have to consider national team, and not all coaches allow you to play abroad. So what was your experience with that, Brandon?
Oh, it brought me in on a sensitive subject. Yeah, I guess we're the problematic one in the fact that we're an island outside of mainland Europe, and we kind of, once you're in full time, that's kind of it. You can't really go and play abroad. So I played with Toby when I was out in Harvestehude for the year, and I was flying back the second half of the year, and you kind of realize when you're trying to train with your club whilst also flying back midweeks to do training games to then fly back again. So I was playing a game on Thursday, fly back Thursday night, Friday, probably morning gym, and then Saturday, Sunday games. It kind of takes its toll. But it is a really sensitive subject for the UK players. So for example, this year, obviously with the Olympics being pushed back, about 8 or 9 of us have had to cancel contracts in Europe, simply because we just can't do it. We have to be in England to be able to be part of the national program, especially leading up to the Olympics. So it's quite a sensitive subject for us as players. We kind of have to make the decision of whether we want to have a break from the national program, or we basically don't go abroad and we stay in the national program. So it's quite a sensitive subject. I don't know how it worked with Jonty and his stuff with South Africa. So obviously that's a longer distance. But yeah, it's always been quite a difficult one to get the balance right for us. And I think it will be for the coming few years as well.
Mm-hmm. Maybe someone else of the players that wants to add something about that topic, the combination and the difficulty related to that.
No.
Nope.
It's always going to be an argument. I think it's quite difficult. Like, so when we were at Harvest-Huda, we were training full time anyway. So the transition for me to go into full time training with the national team wasn't too difficult. But it is kind of get the balance right and kind of get, as Toby says, actually the athlete's needs are probably the one that needs to be addressed first. And the only ones that seem to want to shift on that are the clubs majority of the time. Yeah. So we had so for example, the contract that a few of us signed to go abroad to play in Europe this year, we had a clause in there about if the Olympics gets moved, what we're going to do basically. So the clubs have always been fantastic for us. But at the same time, some of us really wanted to go play abroad. It's quite a difficult decision to have to make of, well, at the end of the day, the Olympics is the dream. So you kind of have to make that decision. And it's a pretty cutthroat world these days. And yeah. Then we've got the other problem of whether the clubs are going to renew the contracts as well the year after. And kind of, it gets complicated from that side of things. You just kind of hope that the rapport that you have as an athlete and with the clubs is really good, that you can kind of build up the conversations again and go again the next year, for example.
Yeah, I think one thing there, Brendan, is like communication obviously is key between the clubs, national associations, and also the players.
Now maybe one more question before we move to a different topic. But Federica, maybe we can talk a bit about how you experience the presence of foreign players, because I think that's an important view also coming from a player playing in our own country. What the added value is to have different cultures in your team.
Well, I guess that everyone agrees that the Dutch competition, especially for men and women, the Dutch competition is the best of the world. So for me, there's actually no reason to go play abroad. Although I would have liked it just for the experience, and I guess for the lifestyle. Besides, I guess that's what I like the most. If I go, I maybe think about learning some Spanish and stuff, and go when I end of my international career, maybe play abroad for Spain or something like that, just to learn the language and the culture, and maybe live there. You know that you have a you like that, those Spanish girls. I guess I play at the Bos, of course, and we actually don't have players from abroad, so I never have. So I cannot talk about that, but I know that there are a lot of girls in the Dutch competition, of course. So I guess they can be of value of some teams, and it's always fun to play against them. And I guess when all teams get better with or without those international players, it's good for the competition. So I like the idea of that, but I always also support the vision of my club to not do that, because that has its that's also for good reasons. So but yeah, I like those stories behind all of those players. So yeah, it's good for the competition, but yeah, I don't have the experience in my team.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of rare to see a team that has never had foreign players, but
yeah.
Guess you got a lot of talent in house.
Yeah, really value those younger players, and that's the vision of our club. that we don't buy players from abroad and stuff like that, because we want to raise those youngsters and with the players that we do have. So that's good as well. But I'm quite curious, for example, from Argentina, there are players that are playing here, both women and men. But I always hear that there in Argentina that it's not really usual to play for other clubs in the country, leave alone play abroad. So I'm always like curious how it is to switch clubs, especially abroad, because it's really loyal, I guess, in the country, if I'm right. Maybe.
In Argentina, you mean, or?
Yeah.
On,
Yeah.
Unmute Lucas.
Yeah. I want to hear it.
Go ahead, Lucas. All right.
Still there?
No, we can't. I can't. LP, can you unmute him? I think he's blocked everyone now, so nobody can.
Wise decision.
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay, we'll keep that question. We'll come back to Lucas when that's fixed. Let's move forward now. So we got just gonna go quickly through one or two slides saying what Scored can do in this matter, and then we'll end up discussing a bit about the actual situation and the worldwide crisis we're in right now due to COVID and the impact that it has on hockey and on playing abroad also. We got also two top coaches with us who will share their opinion about that. But I'm gonna start first to share my screen again. Don't worry, it's not a 20 slide show. It's very, very brief. So basically what we do at Score, and I'm gonna focus on the transfer part and the connection part for players that want to play abroad. So basically, first of all, it's a place to connect, and that's the main message for everything we do. So you can create a profile as a club or as a player or as a coach, and the purpose is to connect all those different parties on Scored. The second role we have, and we really want to continue to improve in that, is to inform people on everything that you need to know to actually play abroad, because it's not that easy. Obviously, if you come from far, there is some visa issues. There is a lot of things you have to know, and you don't always find everything on the info at email or on the website of every club. So I think that's a second very important point. And thirdly, we want to as best as we can enable the actions to be taken. So we want to help people to get to where they want to get. I'm gonna keep it to that. For me, just a couple of numbers. Right now, we've got 20,000 members on the platform. More important for you guys is that we have 400 clubs and 300 online vacancies from the beginning. So there is a lot of clubs opening up vacancies because they're just looking for.
Okay, I think we lost Seb there.
He's just unmuted.
He's back, is he?
Okay, I think I'm back.
You're back. Okay, go ahead, man.
Okay, so I think if everything went well, we have Cedric Straff, who is a player who experienced a transfer actually through Scored. So maybe it's interesting to hear how he experienced that and how it went. So Secha?
Yes. The moment I got the chance to study abroad actually 2 years ago, and the moment I knew I went to got to go to Spain, to Bilbao. Actually, a teammate of mine, Francisco Mitrota, told me, "Yeah, go look on Scored. Maybe you'll find some vacancies on there." And the funny thing is, I found a club in Bilbao called Golaceta. And yeah, it was actually really easy because everything, the contact information was on there, and I sent a mail to the coach, and I think after 2 or 3 mails, yeah, it was the deal was done. So yeah, scored credits to Scored for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
You there, Seb? I think we lost Seb again.
I think so.
Okay. I think I don't know if Seb is back in, but otherwise I think what we'll do is we'll push on to the clubs, and we have Michael Kazma and Richard. I'm gonna unmute you guys. Just wait for Seb to come back in.
I'm back in.
You're back in. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I didn't quite got the entire part of Seche. Can we maybe just finish off that, Steven, if that's okay for you?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know if I was the only one out there, so
yeah.
I haven't heard anything from Cedric, so I don't know if I was the only one or.
Yeah, we got him. Cedric, go again.
I'll go again. I'll go shortly. So no, yeah, I got the chance to go study abroad, actually, yeah, in Spain, in Bilbao. And the moment I knew my destination, actually, a teammate of mine told me to go and look on the Scored website, because actually before that I didn't heard about Scored. And yeah, that's where I saw a vacancy of the club in Bilbao called Golaceta, and I sent a mail to the coach, and I think after two or three mails, everything was set up and the deal was done. So yeah, it was really easy, actually.
Cool. Thanks, Seche. And Savannah Burns, you're there, right? You had a similar experience coming from South Africa?
Yeah, so I'm originally from South Africa, and I went to the States to get my degree and play hockey there. And in the States, they have a rule of 4 years of eligibility to play for the colleges there. And I wasn't ready to just go home and stop my international experience and also stop playing hockey. So I found Scored through a couple of friends that had already seen the platform. And yeah, I just put up my CV, and Mechelse from Belgium contacted me through that. So yeah, that's how Scored helped me like with my journey, and now I'm going into my third season with Mechelse.
Cool.
Cool. Just one last person, I think. Sia Nolochungu. Maybe it's nice to hear your story.
Yeah, I took a stride of actually going to Argentina in 2018 just for my own experience, and I can attest to the Argentines with their cultural experience. It's absolutely insane. But I was playing for a club called Geba. They were in the Premier League. I was playing second choice goalkeeper. Obviously, it was really, really tough as a goalkeeper to just get into a foreign club from any country you come from, because if you're not a native player for that country, they expect a lot out of you, and they expect you to bring something different to the table. And that's where it goes towards John C's point, where the team either takes you in, or you have to kind of like have an it factor to make a difference in the club. So I started in Argentina, and I came across Scored whilst I was just scouring through the internet, and my next target was just to try get into Europe. Obviously, because of visas and stuff like that, it's a very, very difficult avenue to go by. I applied to a club called Guildford, and they were very, very interested because there's quite a few South Africans that play there, and we got to chatting, and I came back to South Africa for a local tournament, the SAPHL, play there, and then one of the National League clubs, Oxted, ended up approaching me above that. So it was also kind of a bargaining factor between the two of whether the club sees value in you as a player. And I ended up going to Oxted, played with a couple of mates, quite a few South Africans there. There's about 6 to 7 of us. So it was really, really cool. And then after that, that led to me getting a call from the French guys. Jethro Eustace put me through with Emmerich in France. So I ended up playing in the French league a little bit too. So also getting exposed to EHL something I never thought I would have ever been able to do, because it's avenues like this that kind of like give you an X factor, and it boosts your rapport, like you guys have been speaking about, and it kind of gives you a little bit more motivation. And goalkeepers only have 2 spots, so it's a bit difficult to try and make in any sphere. But yeah, I've been updating my profile and everything, just trying to make sure that I put my friends through and they can see the value that this contributes. And I think a lot of people are really looking into what Squad has to offer. And I think the more people that get involved, the more the hockey community just becomes interconnected from all types of cultures.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's great. And honestly, this is why we do what we do. And those stories are very, very inspiring to hear, and pushes us to go forward. So thanks a lot for that testimonial. Let's move forward to the last topic with our coaches. About the topic which is haunting us a bit today, right? Maybe from a club perspective, we're facing difficult times, obviously also financially as a club. So there might come a bit of pressure on signing the right players, and on playing abroad in general. So maybe Michael, you can share your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I think, with everything, Brandon touched on it before with the postponement of the Olympics, that there's been a big shift. I think if you look at, if you just go on Hockey.nl and you see the signings previously for Hoofdklasse clubs, you see Zaluski, Topinoke and all these guys, and now you say, okay, it's just not going to happen. So there's a big move in saying, okay, which kind of players do you look for next season? Yeah, what is the situation going to be like? At this point, you just don't know. So it's a little bit of just touch and go and keeping in contact with your team and seeing the possibilities around, and just being open for everything, and not shutting any doors before anything is sorted, because at this point in time, you just don't know what's going to happen in tomorrow, in 2 weeks, in 2 months. So it's as you say, it's just an uncertain period of time, and you just need to go with that flow and go with it, and not try and swim against it. Otherwise, you're going to be absolutely screwed.
True. Yeah. I think it's all about also accepting the situation becoming a bit more difficult, accepting that clubs need to be more creative to find solutions to afford the same level of hockey that we're currently having in Europe. I don't know, Richard, if you have some opinion about that in your club.
Well, I think first of all, I already heard a lot of great stories now, and I just want to start off by adding a little bit of what Toby was telling about his needs to go to a foreign club and going abroad. And I think, first of all, I think it's also good to know that you guys are making a huge choice, and it's a choice for a lifetime. Not only the hockey part, but also the social and personal part. But I think it's also good for clubs to know, and staff members, coaches, trainers, and also the players of the club to stand open for you guys. And I think that's in the early days, it wasn't there. I'm a little bit older, and I started playing at HDM in Holland, and we had 2 South African players coming over in 1995. And that was Bruce Jacobs and Emil Smith. In that time, they were good players. And we thought, okay, they're going to play at our club. So we didn't even know something about them, didn't even know something about the culture. So the club training starts at 8 o'clock and they joined in 8:15. Yeah, it's South African time. So we didn't even knew something about how we had to go on with these kind of things. So I think it's good for not only you guys, but I also going to my side as a coach and as at that moment a player, that connection and communication in this one is huge, is really important, and also try to balance and manage that process. So be interested, just chat with the guys, go on a meeting, try to meet like we're doing now. I think that connection is gonna be huge, especially now for the coming times. And so I think what Kos has already told is now try to connect with the team, still be connect with the team. I think everybody's got his individual program to stay fit, but it's not only about a physical part, it's also about a little bit the mental part, is about to keep connected on the right way. So it's try to do nice parts like social. We did a quiz with the team, just a team quiz. It's try to keep the joy in, try to keep the team dynamic going on. I think these are interesting things, not thinking about the problems, but also try to think about the solutions now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I wanted to add.
Cool. And maybe another question, a bit more direct on the situation and also the financial reality right now of clubs. Do you feel strong that we can keep the same level of hockey? Because obviously the presence of some very talented foreign players in European competitions is very important. Do you expect a difference in this? Do we will need to accept that less players will be able to come play in Europe, or do we will find ways to manage it?
Part what you say now, I think we're going to find ways, but still, if you see now that the competition in Europe is getting stronger and stronger. It's not only the Dutch competition, but also you see really in the Belgian competition, especially men hockey now is getting really on a certain high level. The ladies are coming, and I think that's a good thing. It's also because of you guys are coming to the countries to help out. But I think if there is not going to be enough money, then still we have to find solutions and not think in problems. The level will go down a little, of course, but then it's up to us as coaches, trainers, and club to make sure that the level's coming up again.
Would you, Richard, maybe that players need to be maybe like keep this in mind and maybe be a bit more realistic for the coming seasons and work with the clubs and to maybe try and bring, I don't know, other types of added value so that
it's what you, Stefan, already told, like how Toby is as a person, not only one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but also as a human being, making sure that his values towards a club is going to be important as well. I think that's also main thing on social and personal wise, is what can you bring into the club to help out for the future. So this is what we have to discuss with each other. Okay, what can we do? Not only as staff, but also as the players and the foreign players.
Yeah, that's. I definitely think it's going to be a challenging year, but with you know, hockey's going to be around. It's going to be a challenge for brands. It's going to be a challenge for federations. Like the Pro League, I think for next year is also going to be a challenge where they're looking at flying teams all over the world.
Yeah.
A time where you don't want to be traveling, costs of all that. But why we're all here, the sport that we love will go on. Huh? Like that's no question about it. And I think if creative minds come together, good solutions can come. I believe that people will turn to sports when they have the opportunity to do so. I guess in the situation in Central Europe with the leagues that we have, like Belgium, Holland, Germany, yeah, we're quite lucky with the distances. I know, like, for example, with Brendan in the UK, it's a completely different story with the league structure there, or with back in my hometown in Ireland, it's also completely different. Richard, is there any plans for Dragons for what's the plans for next season, or how are you planning your pre-season now, for example?
We're not really planned yet for next season. We're just busy with finding solutions at this moment, but we are busy. We're trying to get to be one step ahead. And we're thinking and talking a lot about it, and we have to be well prepared. And I think every club is already getting a little bit more busy. But I think what we do now, we got a Dragons at Home social media event. It's a closed event for all the members that we still give a little bit certain training, skill trainings, physical trainings, some battles, challenges. And at this moment we are there. But yeah, we have to discuss, of course, what's going to go on in September.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a huge one cost. Do you already know? We're still finding out, eh?
Every day is a mystery.
Every day
Is a mystery.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just
But
waiting.
that's also a
waiting
good
to-
thing, eh?
yeah.
That's also a good thing. It keeps us going on. And but the main thing is that we have to follow the hearts, follow our passion, and making sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest quotes that you hear now is, with disruption comes opportunity. There's definitely a lot of opportunity out there, and especially for athletes. What's cool is to see so many people connected. I've never seen the hockey community as connected as it is now. And I think with the opportunity of players having the opportunity to play away, the next seasons being creative and being realistic maybe on fees and so, but I think it could be a really good time for players to play away.
Yeah, true. So what's going to happen? We're going to join in and battle with each other. We can all think about solutions now. But the main thing is, I think, guys, for you that's coming aboard and staying here is for you a huge respect, huge respect. Well done.
Thanks, Richard. Yep.
I agree. But maybe I know, Steven, to finish off. I know what you still had in mind. I would like to finish off with a final message and a special call towards all people that would love to play abroad. I believe that what Richard said rightfully, and Steven confirmed, is that we need to look for personality, for fit, for culture. We need to insist in communication and connections, which will enable making the right choice for clubs and for players, and that's very important. And that's where we really want to help and make the extra effort. So concretely, what we have done on Scored, and I want to quickly share my screen one last time, if that's possible. Just one.
Right. You're good.
Okay.
And if you've any questions, if there's a lot of people who have came on. If there's any questions, please put them in the chat. If not, we're going to mail out all the Instagram accounts of all the players. We want the players to be connected, and you can also contact Score directly through their website or on their Instagram. But if there's any questions for anyone, put them in the chat now. I'm going to open up the chat again. Hold on.
Exactly. We still had that question for Lucas, right, from Federica.
Yeah, can we get Lucas back on? Hold on one moment. You go ahead first, Seb, with your.
Okay, so basically, just to show very quickly. So if you come to Scored, you obviously, if you're not yet registered, you create your profile. I have already a profile. I'm gonna sign in, doing it through Facebook, and basically, we've created an open application, a general application. So if you go to vacancies, basically you find all vacancies running for different clubs where you can apply for. We created a general one. So if you click on this one for men or for women, you can apply. And what we want to do, so you just put your motivation, a little text, you apply. What we want to do with this is so it's an open application for people wanting to play abroad, to filter this, to try to first of all inform you with everything you need to know. So we were working on a kit of information, and afterwards, if possible, guide you into the right direction. So so that's my call for all of you. If you're looking to play abroad, don't hesitate and apply on this open application on Scored. So that's it for me.
Okay, that looks.
Did we find Lucas back, or is he?
Yeah, if you stop sharing your screen, I can.
Yeah.
We can
I'm trying. Where do I do this? Okay.
Okay, hold on. Here he is. Yeah, Lucas, you're good.
Yes, I think it's good now. Yeah, to answer the question, yeah, in Argentina it's not usual to switch from clubs. It's completely the other way around. I mean, there are almost no switches from teams. Of course, the league here is not professional, semi-professional. So every player even pays to the club like a membership to play. So it's completely amateur vision. So everyone has the sense that is their home club and the family club. So usually the people doesn't switch from clubs in Argentina. Even if you switch from clubs, depending on which, it's like a really big thing. It's like you're betraying your values and your club, and it's like a big thing, like football, to switch from Barca to Real Madrid, something like that. Like it's really bad image for yourself. For me, in my experience with hockey here in Europe, of course, I have that feeling. I'm not really used to, and it's a big thing to switch from clubs. But sometimes it's a decision that is up to the club. Sometimes that maybe they are looking for another player or a different position of players, and you need to look for another club to play. And in my case, I'm always looking for a really good hockey level experience. I mean, I'm not have the idea to stay in Europe just to play and just like survive in Europe. It's not my feeling, and the same for my girlfriend. So if we have a good challenge, we like to push forward and to stay playing in Europe. But it's hard to switch as well. I have the feeling I don't like to switch every year from a different club. I mean, I still have that Argentinian feeling inside. It's not really nice to do, I think.
Yeah, that's I think that's a pretty cool mentality, and to show loyalty to a club, of course, is really nice. It's not always the same for everyone, but it's the same where I'm from. Yeah, loyalty to the club in Ireland. Yeah, you really can't change clubs. That's why I had to come to Belgium. Okay, Seb, if there's any questions, just throw them in the chat. Seb, if not, if there's anything you want to close with, or any of the athletes have any questions, you can always put your hand up, put it in, or I'll leave it over to you, Seb.
Yeah, just last call. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming big. Keep traveling if you can, if you have the opportunity, because you guys are very important for the level of hockey, and very enriching for every competition. So keep doing what you're doing, and don't hesitate to look for help if you need. So that's my last message to all of you.
Okay, super. We have another session coming, which actually might be interesting for some players. It's been run with Felix Denayer and also some other athletes, some Red Bull athletes. It's on player branding. It's going to be taking place next Monday. It's probably going to be a closed session because Felix is bringing in some pretty high-profile guests with him. So if anyone wants to join, send us a message. They're going through all different elements of player branding, social media, everything to do with endorsements and so on. So I think it can be quite a cool one. For everyone else, there is a workout session with Abby tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I think the girls from Spain are going to join in. Nice. Okay, so that's super. First, thanks for everyone from joining. We have a question in we're going to take there, Seb, from Trent. Depending on the club and the league, you won't always get paid to play or paid a lot. Is it difficult to find a job abroad that still gives you the flexibility to play full time?
I think that's a very, very good question, and to be honest, that's where we're heading towards. I think the players being flexible and being open to not only just play hockey and that's it, but to trying to look for working on the side. Obviously, still being an athlete, so you can't work full time, but doing something or giving training. So that's I think it's already a good thing to ask that question. And whether or not it's possible, it depends both on the place you're going to and on the club. And I think a lot of clubs are doing great efforts to offer jobs to foreign players. So that's something definitely you can ask when arriving or when chatting with a club. and it's, I think it also depends on your if you're an international player or not. If you play national team, I think a lot of guys here present can confirm that it's difficult to take a job on. But I think it's the right mindset, and I think it's very important to try to look for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Huh? I mean, absolutely. Okay, if there's not any other questions, then I think we're going to sign off. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Seb, to your team from Scored, I think it's an incredible platform. I think it has real potential to grow, and I think you're adding real value to the hockey community. I hope that a lot of people will subscribe, and I hope that a lot of clubs will also get in contact with you, because I think it's something that's needed. We actually have one more question coming in. Can you see that there, Seb?
Yeah, I'm reading it.
What can
where do goalkeepers have the best shot to get scouted?
Maybe you need to put that to Cosma or to Richard.
Guys?
Rich, you gonna go or?
Yeah, you go on. I didn't hear the question that right. But...
Okay, what can goalkeepers do to give themselves the best shot at getting scouted? I'm aware it's difficult, especially relying on video and word of mouth.
That's a great
question. Yeah, go Rich. Sorry, I interrupted you, mate. Go for it.
No. If you got an answer directly, yeah.
Or maybe one of our goalies. I don't know if Toby is still there. Toby or Davey, if you maybe can advise.
Yeah, it's as a goalkeeper, it's always difficult, huh? Especially the fact that there's only normally one spot in a team, and of course you want to play. So nowadays you can rely on the video footage, because every team, or like in every league, they're making huge steps forward, recording the games and especially coding those games. Cosma knows what I'm talking about, because he's literally coding every game which is played in international women's competition and also on the men's competition in Belgium. So nowadays you can rely on that, because you can figure out all the good scenes. You made a save. You have to be busy creating those videos if someone is not aware of your skills. And of course, find yourself a good goalkeeper coach who you can train with every week, and also this guy can record videos of you. And if you want, you have to send it to clubs you're interested in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe to end off with the last question, it's a question we've discussed I think quite some time. So if you're playing overseas, if you want to play overseas, how do you know which league is for you? I think that one at Score we're working on information that we'll send to you if you apply on the open application, that will try to guide you through that decision, because it's a very tough one. Every league is different, both on level and culture wise. And so it's just again about information and taking the time to talk to the right people and making a well-informed decision.
Yeah, that's actually a really deep question, because indeed, like the cultural differences and the standard differences between leagues, yeah, it's there's such big differences there, and it makes such a big difference to players' choices. So the more information, Seb, you guys can get on that, I think would be really helpful.
Working on that.
Nice. Okay, cool. If there's not any other questions, thanks all for joining us. Sorry about the interruptions that came in. We'll try and get that away for next time. But to everybody that joins, especially people in different time zones, it's really appreciated. I think it's a really cool concept. And to Seb and all your team, big thanks, man.
Thanks for having us, Stephen.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
No. Cheers.